Hey guys, I'm back and today I'm going to be doing a get ready with me using all of my Pan Those Eyeshadow shades. I tried to incorporate them into one cohesive look. I think I did an okay job. And if you want to chat with me about what I've been reading and watching lately while I play with some eyeshadow, please stick around and let's hop straight into this video. I start off with a little bit of primer. I'm trying this one by Laura Mercier. This is their Pure Canvas Power Primer. First impression, this should not be a dropper product. Mostly because it holds its shape. It's not liquidy enough. So it's kind of a pain in the ass to pick any up with the dropper. So that's really my main gripe with it. A part of me wants to repackage it somehow, but then because it's not very liquidy, I don't even know how I would scrape it all out. Maybe if I remove the stopper I could do that, but it's interesting so far. But I have only two, other than the ones I'm painting right now, I only have this one and one other in my collection. I'm kind of running out of primers, which is wild. Not something that I thought I was going to say anytime soon, but I've really worked through a good amount in the past year, which has been really nice. Then, because I am a little bit red, please ignore this attempted top knot. I've given up on it. I'm just going to let my hair down once I'm done with my base makeup. I really liked this. I was influenced by Hannah Louise Poston to try this out because I had tried out green color correctors in the past and none of them really worked for me. They were all a little bit too green, whereas this, obviously right now it's not all blended out, but I almost feel like once I blend it out, I could even leave like this. Like this looks nicer than how I looked just a minute before. I look a little paler than I do when I apply other makeup on top of it, but it's much more subtle than the Maybelline ones that came in those clicky pens, or I think I tried one from Elf or something that was just straight up green face paint. And yeah, I could just never get it to look nice. And so I gave up on them, but then watching her apply this specific green color corrector along with a couple others that she likes, I thought to myself, maybe that will be the exception to my no color corrector rule. I don't even really like ones that are for under your eyes. I feel like they just either end up getting covered up with concealer and it doesn't look better than when I just apply concealer, or they look too yellow or too peach and it just kind of clashes. I'm making my little base concoction using my Project Pan foundation from Tarte and this L'Oreal, not Laura Mercier, Infallible Fresh Wear foundation. I am excited for summer when I get to really use some of the deeper base products that I used, that I bought last summer, that I have been holding off on all winter. I'm also just excited for summer because I do enjoy summer. This will be marking a year since I graduated, which is kind of wild. A year as a working adult, which again, just kind of the whole year just flew by. Even a year ago on my channel, I have made a lot of progress. I've made some content, some series that I'm really proud of, as well as met some new people through YouTube and Instagram. And I've made some videos that even I will go back and watch sometimes, like my one that I made with my two friends, the Get Ready With Me I did back in February. Get Ready With Me. You did not mumble. So yeah, so that is everything that I have kind of going on right now. Just prepping to move again. And reminiscing, I guess. And apparently hitting myself with sponges. I have started, so for like some media and books, like things I consume, I guess, I have been reading the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. As you may know, I read the A Court of Thorn and Roses series in the beginning of part of this year, like the end of 2023 and the beginning of 2024. And I started Throne of Glass, which is more fantasy, less romance than ACOTAR, which I think is just kind of like, it's not even a subjective statement. There are love interests, and like, she does occasionally muse about like marriage and stuff like that, but a big part of the plot in ACOTAR is like her love interest and like the people who, you know, fancy her. Oh Lord, that's a lot of powder. So Throne of Glass was like kind of a step more back into fantasy than I've been in a while. I liked some fantasy series when I was in like high school and middle school, but so yes, this is kind of like dabbling in a new genre for me that I haven't read in a while, given that last year the vast majority of the books that I read were either like, there was a couple thriller, a couple nonfiction, and then mostly like romance or like realistic fiction. Maybe, I think there was one historical fiction. So that was just very different. And then at the end, I picked up my first ACOTAR book. And that's what started us on this journey. But I am 4 books into the 9-book series. And there's so many other books I want to read, but I know I'm going to forget to like what's going on if I set down this book and like pick up other books and take a break. So I'm just trying to plow through. I've spent a lot of time on planes in the past couple of weeks, and so I got in a lot of reading, which was nice. But now I'm back home, and this week I'm hoping to set aside like a reasonable amount of time to reading. Sometimes I tend to be like all or nothing. I'll either read for like 6 hours on a Sunday and I'll do nothing else, or I won't read at all that week. I don't know why I'm like this. Actually, I do know. Please let me know in the comment section below if you also are like this. But sometimes like the part of the task that's objectively easier is the harder thing for me to do. So for example, exercising. Usually the hardest part of exercising for me is putting on the workout outfit. If I get up in the morning and put on the workout outfit, even if I don't like go to the gym right away, I'm more likely to go than if I like put on other clothes. I don't know what it is. It's just I'm like, well, I'm already in the outfit. I might as well just go. I don't understand. Loading the dishwasher, piece of cake. Unloading the dishwasher, unmanageable task. I don't know how people can like unload and then load the dishwasher in one go. That's completely bananas to me. I have to like convince myself to unload it. And then usually once I unload it, I'll come back within like an hour or two and I'll load it back up, or I'll load whatever dishes I have. But there have been times where like I won't unload the dishwasher and I'll just like pull out clean dishes for it as I need them until it's like mostly empty, and then I'll do the rest because I just don't want to unload it. But like loading the dishwasher is absolutely no problem. If there's dishes in the sink, I'll load it. I don't know. So it's the same thing for me with books. Like picking up the book feels like a lot of effort, but if I'm already really sucked into the story and I can't wait to see what happens next, continuing reading is like a piece of cake. I will read all day. So I've been not liking that liquid bronzer on like my chin and neck. So I've still been going in with this Tarte bronzer that was in my 20 and 2024 project pan. But I think that's fine. Like, I'm liking how it's looking, and although project panning is about like using things up and hitting goals and maybe using things in a way that you wouldn't normally, it's also about like enjoying makeup. So I'm trying to remember that. In my Pan Those Eyeshadows series, someone mentioned like they think that rose quartz for my sultry palette would look nice with my two other Pan Those eyeshadow shades. So I thought, why not? Because A, I don't have anywhere to go today, and B, they might be right. It's not something that I was inclined to like do on my own, but I kind of wanted to experiment. So we're gonna try that out today. Now, I gave up on waiting because I've seen so much press about it and I was really curious, and I started Bridgerton. Now, I was waiting until I've read all of the books because I read The Duke and I and The Viscount Who Loves Me, or something like that, the first two Bridgerton series books last year. And I really enjoyed both of them. And so I wanted to read all of them before I watched Bridgerton, because I know from what my friend has told me that they reveal who Lady Whistledown is in Bridgerton. Now, I've watched almost all of the first season, and that's the season that corresponds to the first book. And I think this upcoming season is Colin's book, which is actually the fourth book. So they skip over Benedict, whose book I have not read. Anyways, but like from watching most of the first season and having read the first book, they're very different. And now I'm curious if the show took artistic liberties or if the show is combining and like speeding up all the storylines, if that makes sense. So like Colin's storyline in season 1, I don't know because I haven't read it yet. Is that from his book or did they just make it up? I don't know. I'll find out. I will read them eventually. But now I don't know. I'm almost at the end of the first season, and I don't even know if they reveal who Lady Whistledown is in the book series or if this is just another liberty that the TV show took. I'm just genuinely not very sure. So that's been kind of where I've been going back and forth with right now. I mean, like, even if they do spoil something, I don't really care. I'm still enjoying the show, even though I already read the book, so I'll still enjoy the book if something gets spoiled in the show, is my thought process. And then I got really into the Great British Bake Off a couple weeks ago when I had the flu. Like, I had already been kind of watching it sparingly, and then I caught a really, like, I don't know if it was a flu or a cold. I have, like, never really understood the difference. Like, I know that they're two different viruses. Did you know you could go and get tested when you're sick to see if it's the flu or not? I don't understand. I understand, like, maybe, I guess, like, if you're really worried about, like, you getting sick and getting other people sick. And I understand the point of getting a COVID test when you're sick because you want to know, like, how long you've been contagious for, if you've been, like, going to work or seeing people or something. But yeah, someone was like, oh, well, did you get a flu test? I'm like, that's a thing? I got, like, a cold. It was pretty not fun. I had, like, a fever and stuff. And so I watched almost the entirety of the most recent season that's on Netflix, and I'm sucked in. Now, first of all, I want to go through and bake all of the things that they make for the technicals. Actually, most of the things. I have zero desire to make a fortune cookie, just because they looked like a lot of work in the show. But like the lemon drizzle cake that they made many seasons ago, or this, yeah, no, I think it was like season 5 or something. Again, I'm watching them like not necessarily in order. I watched the most recent season and then I went back and started over, so that all the seasons are blurring together in my head. But the lemon drizzle cake looked so good. Like, that looks right up my alley. I kind of want to make that. I remember one year they made like a red velvet cake, which I've already made, but I do love a good red velvet cake. I went in with Lavish from my Tarte 2017 holiday palette. Now I'm going in with Lunar Cycle from my MAC Solar Glow ×9 palette, all over my lid, over the eye primer that I put down. And then I think I'm going to add more Lavish and maybe a little bit of Cypress Umber before going in with Rose Quartz. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm going to pick up a little bit more Lavish and build that up in the crease. Other media I've been consuming, I am obsessed with this season of Summer House. I am one episode behind as of when I'm filming this, because I have been habit stacking my trashy reality TV with cardio. So when I go on a treadmill or an elliptical or whatever, that is when I'm allowed to watch these shows, specifically new episodes of Vanderpump Rules and Summer House, a little bit of The Valley. The Valley has been like more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I just like genuinely don't enjoy seeing Jax on my TV screen, but I guess he's here to stay. Going in with a little bit of Cypress Umber along the upper lash line. Using shadow as a liner has really come back into my makeup preferences ever since I started panning this Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, because the black is so rich. This brown is beautiful. And even the mulberry makes a good liner shade. Like, they're all just like very rich and a little bit powdery, but if I remember to do my eyeshadow before my blush, I can just whisk it all away. I'm just gonna take a little bit on my lower lash line as well. I just think it's so much easier to use a brush for these type of things than like any other type of eyeliner. I've never found like pencil eyeliners to be that easy to use. And I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Noir just to make it look a little bit less, I don't know, sticking out. Do I do it? Do I take it? I guess maybe. I'm just gonna tap a little bit of this on the center of my lid. Okay, it definitely like changed the vibe. I don't know if this is gonna be my favorite way to use this shadow, but it doesn't look bad. Added a little bit more sparkle to it. While we're here, let's add a little bit of blue. Okay, I think I would have liked it without rose quartz better. I think I'm just gonna cover it up. But yeah, I've been really enjoying Summer House. I haven't really been enjoying Vanderpump Rules as much as I thought I was going to. I'm tempted to go back and watch all of Summer House now, because I went back and watched all of Vanderpump Rules earlier this year, and it was definitely entertaining. I mean, just like the things that people thought were a good idea 10-ish years ago just are very entertaining now. And I mean, the things that I thought were a good idea 10 years ago were not. So we're always learning and growing, but I think it might be a fun thought experiment. I'm gonna go in really quickly with a little bit of mascara and I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. The hair has somehow gotten worse. So the shadows under my eyes aren't really dark circles. It's just like a literal like shadow. And I've watched a ton of videos on how to get rid of this, and I still have never been able to like make it look great, but one of the ways is to just go in with a little bit of translucent powder and just try and brighten just this area. I did not sleep great last night, not gonna lie. I think that's a little bit better. Back in with my trusty Pan That Palette blush. One of the beauties of Pan, how do you call this a Pan That Palette blush? Project Pan. One of the beauties of project panning, in my opinion, is when you have a big collection, it really simplifies your makeup collection. I use this blush every time I do my makeup because I have a goal I want to hit on it. And then when I hit that goal, I'll move on to something else. Whereas if I, every time I went to do my makeup, sat in front of all of my blushes and tried to pick one, I would be so overwhelmed. It helps with any decision fatigue I would get. And even with like Pan That Palette or Pan Those Eyeshadows, that's a lot of like looks that I can do. I don't get bored, but I'm not sitting in front of all of my palettes going, okay, which one do I want to use? And then deciding which look I want to do from there. And sometimes I am a little bit like unsure because I don't want to only use certain things in my collection, but it just saves me so much time. Kind of like when you have a school uniform or like a pretty strict dress code. Yes, you know, it represses individuality, it can be a lot of problems, but it also makes getting ready in the morning so easy. You have like 4 options. So that is the face. I went in with a lot of highlighter, and I feel like I was talking about something before I went to go put on mascara. I have no clue what it was anymore. So I'm just gonna go in with this. Do I want to do this or do I want to go bold? I'm going in with my MAC satin lipstick in the shade Twig. This is like an oldie but a goodie, you know? It's like my second or third of this. It's just such a beautiful color. There we go. Yeah, I think that was the right choice with the eyes. So that is the finished look. I'm gonna fix that and I'll be right back. So this is everything for the finished look. I used all of my Pan Those eyeshadows, and I enjoy this look a lot, even though I don't know if I would necessarily go in with both Rose Quartz and Lunar Cycle again together. I still think it looked really pretty, and actually, let's add a little bit of Rose Quartz to my inner corner. So that is everything. I hope you enjoyed just chit-chatting and watching me try to use all 4 of my Pan Those eyeshadows in the same look. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I hope you are as well. And most of all, I hope you are having an incredible, awesome day wherever you are, and that I get to see you in a future video. Thanks, guys.